Please be respectful. It took a lot of courage for me to make this video, and the last thing I want is to spread hate. This video was inspired by this interaction I had in my comment section. Yes, that is my actual response. But ever since I left that response, I got to thinking about it, and I decided, well, I might as well see how challenging it would be to do this video without starting drama. So here we go. Since you all read the title, I just want to make something clear. These are only reasons I stopped the series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Enter the Multiverse when I did. It doesn't say anything about my potential of bringing back the series in the future. I'm kind of headed in a different direction right now, so chances of coming back are pretty slim, but they're not zero. But since people are genuinely curious what happened to Yu-Gi-Oh! Enter the Multiverse, I might as well give you my 3 reasons why I stopped the series. The 3 strikes, if you will. Basically, I was contacted by who was working on Digi-series at that point in time, and he was inquiring about featuring his villain character as an antagonist of some sort. I, of course, thought it would be a great idea because I could convincingly act scared, convincing I actually was scared of that character at one point. So, considering he didn't want a dueling video with me like he does with Digi, I figured we should do a review instead. Or was it his idea? I forget. Either way, I was into it. And there was a cool channel arc that we had going for it anyway, because Wildcard would be trapped in and M-Page has to abide by the demands of the Cape Guy and to keep Wildcard safe. The idea is I would force myself to make spooky videos and could do like reviews or some shit. Unfortunately, after 2 of those videos on my end, I suffered a mental breakdown and didn't upload a single fucking thing. So we decided to cut the arc short. So much so that the video I planned to make to end the arc was uploaded in an unfinished state because I just wanted it to be done and over with so I could rebrand and move on. Despite my series taking place in a different continuity from Digi's Yu-Gi-Oh! Equestria series, I wanted to play around with a what-if angle. Like, I could do like one of his episodes but do it slightly differently, because that's the thing about Multiverse. Things can change little-ish and things can change bigly. You never know. Of course, I did ask Digi if I can do it because, like, you know, permission is important. At the time, I had this really interesting concept where it'd be like Power Rangers. I could just cut back to footage of his episode and that would cut down on the amount of shots that I had to make with vectors and backgrounds. But this would actually become my greatest obstacle. And to get into why, I first have to explain the plot. See, this takes place coming from an episode where Digi gets his ass kicked by in a duel. And then at the last minute, Zarvox shows up to rescue him. So for my what if version, I decided to have Wild show up as Digi's getting his ass kicked. And as Zarvox is taking his sweet ass time to get there, I figured Wild could inadvertently distract that villain character by like seeing Digi get destroyed and then mouthing off about how he wished he could save Digi and that if he were to face he would totally kick his ass, of which he would hear that and then take him up on that. A duel would commence. Wild would be his whiny, annoying punk ass self and would kick his ass. 2 body counts for the price of 1. But then Zarvox shows up to save the day. Anyway, Digi did the duel segment like he does every duel segment in my show. But I was having trouble finding assets to go with his footage. Because like while I could reuse his footage, I didn't have access to his backgrounds, nor did I have the arting skills to make my own backgrounds. So integrating new scenes with old scenes was gonna be tough, and I couldn't ask Digi to make more assets because he was in college and he was in hyper-focus mode. That would have been enough to put that episode on indefinite hiatus. But what killed it, you're probably wondering. Enter the guy that did the Venter set for. I have my reasons for not liking, but for the sake of this video being short and no more people that I care about suffering, I'm just going to put that aside. Anyway, we were under the understanding that did the Venters for Digi as a gift so that Digi could do whatever he wanted with them. But apparently no, for some reason retained the ability to play yo-yo with the permissions. He could just turn them off and on any time he wants, like a goddamn light switch. And honestly, it's artists like him, which is why I never ask anyone ever for commissions or requests ever again. Because like, if he can be an asshole like that, like, I know there are artists out there that aren't like that, but like, I just can't, okay? Now, I could have manned up and asked directly if I could use the vectors, but honestly, like, he already has his reasons to be mad at me, and I already have my reasons to not be particularly fond of him. So I'd rather just us maintain our separate ways, and I just decided to scrap the whole thing. So with that idea failing completely, I figured it would be best for me to stick with the normal format for an episode that I've had and that worked so well with me and Chad. You know, the standard thing of appearing in a universe, learning how it works, finding someone, dueling them, and then end. So for this video, I wanted my brony Canadian friend from the YRC to play a Canadian version of the Great and Powerful Trixie, and the universe would kind of revolve around that being the concept, so I'm not going to explain it any further. Since Digi was hyper-focused on the series, I didn't have anyone to help me write the dueling segment. And at the time, I was convinced that just hashing out a dueling segment in writing was the way to go, despite the pilot with Rachel doing so well with me writing a script around a duel that actually happened on Dueling Nexus or book. One of my very good friends, and Digi's good friend, wanted to step in to help me write the dueling segments, and here I thought it would be a normal writing process of discussing the decks that both characters would use, maybe hashing out some ideas for character interactions and integrating the moral of the story and such and such and such. I never expected him to write the entire fucking thing all by himself. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, is a very good writer, and he is very creative and very fun and very energetic, and I love everything he does and everything he is. The only thing that didn't match was the vibe. He writes really family friendly bubblegum poppy stuff, and I kinda lean more towards the darker, edgier PG-13 stuff. I was thinking maybe if I rewrote his segment in my style, maybe bring in some edge, bring in some zazz, bring in some mild adult humor, and then like maybe push the moral a bit later to drag out the episode with more action. I thought it could work, but like friggin' looking at his writing and telling me to make a different thing out of it is like asking someone to tear down, say, Michelangelo's David and use the pieces to rebuild like Venus de Milo or something. Like, it sounds fun, it sounds like an interesting challenge, but you look at Michelangelo's David, it's like, you just can't do it. Like, you can't bring yourself to destroy something so magnificent and awesome, even if the pieces would be reused into something else. So, seeing the way he wrote made me lose confidence in my abilities as a writer, and that was the final nail in the coffin for scrapping Yu-Gi-Oh! Enter the Multiverse. I hope this explanation satisfies you, and Here's hoping that one day I can either revive the series in the future or that we never have to speak of this again. But like I said constantly, I always have plenty of video ideas in the works, and some of them actually involve Yu-Gi-Oh! So I hope you do look forward to whatever I do, whenever the hell I do it. Thank you all for watching, I'll see you later. Peace.